Have you ever finished a long workday feeling like you've been busy all day, but when you look back, you realize you didn't actually accomplish anything important? I know the feeling. You wake up with a plan, a to-do list, big goals for this day. But then, the emails come in, your phone starts buzzing, unexpected tasks pop up. A coworker or a client needs something right away. Before you know it, it's evening and you're mentally exhausted, but your most important work still untouched. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you're not alone. Most people today are constantly distracted, overwhelmed, and stuck in reactive mode. But here's the thing, the most successful people don't do more. They actually do less, but they do it with extreme focus. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. In this video, I'm going to show you why doing less actually leads to achieving more, how distractions are killing your progress, 5 powerful strategies to sharpen your focus and start making real progress. And at the end, I will share one simple action step that can change the way you work starting today. Sound good? Let's dive in. Most people believe that more work equals more success. We've been told that hustling harder is the key to getting ahead. But here's the truth. It's not about how much you do. It's about how much of the right things you do. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs, CEOs, and athletes. They don't spread themselves thin across 10 different projects at once. Instead, they focus deeply on just 1 or 2 things that matter the most. Let's look at Steve Jobs, for example. When he returned to Apple in 1997, the company was struggling. They were producing dozens of different products, trying to appeal to everyone. And guess what? Nothing was working. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy. So what did Jobs do? He cut 70% of Apple's product line. 70%. He decided to stop trying to do everything and focus only on a few world-class products like iMac, the MacBook, and later the iPhone. The result? Apple became one of the most valuable companies in the world. Now, imagine if he had tried to keep everything going. Imagine if he had spread himself thin, saying yes to every opportunity, every idea, every possibility. Apple wouldn't exist today. And this applies to you too. If you're constantly jumping between tasks, chasing every opportunity, saying yes to everything that comes your way, you will never make real progress. And it's not just about business. This applies to fitness, learning, relationships, everything. If you try to master 5 different skills at once, you will improve at none of them. If you try to juggle 10 big projects, they will all move slowly or not at all. If you say yes to every invitation, every meeting, every request, you will have 0 time left for what really matters. The bottom line? Doing less, but doing it with complete focus is the key to achieving more. So, how do we do that? Alright, now that we know why focus is the key to success, let's talk about how to actually do it. Here are 5 powerful strategies that can help you cut out distractions, sharpen your focus, and start making real progress. There's a principle called the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle. It states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. Think about your business. Which 20% of clients generate 80% of your revenue? Think about your daily tasks. Which 20% of your efforts drive the biggest results? The key here is to identify what actually moves the needle and focus more on that, while cutting out the rest. I used to spend hours responding to emails every morning. It felt like I was being productive, but at the end of the day, my real work was still unfinished. Then I realized emails were not my 20%. They were stealing my focus. So I started batching my emails, checking them only twice a day instead of all day long. That one change alone freed up several hours of a week for real, focused work. Here's an action step for you. Look at your schedule. Identify one task that takes up too much time but doesn't create real impact. Reduce it, delegate it, or eliminate it. Did you know that? It takes an average of 23 minutes to refocus every time you get interrupted. That's why successful people protect their focus with time blocking. Time blocking means setting aside dedicated, distraction-free time to work on one high-value task at a time. I personally schedule 90-minute deep work sessions in the morning when my energy is the highest. During this time, no emails, no phone notifications, no meetings. Look at your calendar right now. Schedule at least one deep work session for tomorrow. Every single yes you give to something unimportant is a no to something that actually matters. Think about that. How many times have you agreed to a meeting that could have been an email? How often have you taken on a side project that pulled you away from your main goals? The truth is, most of us are overwhelmed, not because we have too much to do, but because we say yes to too many of the wrong things. Warren Buffett puts it best. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I used to say yes to every opportunity that came my way. Can you join this project? Sure. Can you hop on a quick call? Why not? Can you help out with this? Of course. And guess what? I was burning out. I was busy all the time, but barely making progress on my goals. So I started asking myself one simple question before saying yes to anything. Does this align with my top priorities? If the answer is no, I don't do it. Simple as that. And let me tell you, the moment I started saying no, I finally had the time, energy, and mental clarity to focus on what actually mattered. The next time someone asks you to do something, pause before saying yes. Ask yourself, is this truly important? Or is it just urgent? If it's not essential, say no. And don't feel guilty about it. Let's talk about simplifying your business. A lot of entrepreneurs overcomplicate things. They try to sell too many products. They offer too many services. They chase too many opportunities. But the most successful businesses, they keep it simple. Amazon started with one thing, books. Apple focused on a few world-class products. Netflix began with DVD rentals before expanding. The more complex your business is, the harder it is to scale. Look at your business. Identify one thing you can simplify today. Is there a service you can drop? A product you can refine? A system you can streamline? Less is more. Now, let's talk about your environment. Because here's the thing, your environment shapes your focus. If your phone is constantly buzzing, if your desk is cluttered, if you're working in a noisy, distracting space, it's going to be 10 times harder to focus. Successful people design their environment for success. For example, turn off notifications while working. Keep your phone in another room when doing deep work. Use noise-cancelling headphones if your workspace is loud. Keep your desk clean, less clutter, less mental chaos. When your environment is designed for focus, you don't have to rely on willpower. Staying productive becomes automatic. Take 5 minutes right after this video to optimize your workspace. Remove distractions, declutter, and set up a system that makes focus easy. Alright, let's do a quick recap. Today, we talked about why doing less actually leads to achieving more. We covered the 80-20 rule, focus on the few things that actually move the needle. Time blocking for deep work. Protect your most productive hours. Saying no more often. Guard your time fiercely. Simplifying your business model. Less complexity, more success. Optimizing your environment. Make focus effortless. Now, I have a challenge for you. And drop a comment below and tell me what's one distraction you're eliminating this week. Let's help each other stay accountable. If you find this video helpful, hit that like button. It really helps spread this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.